With great power comes great responsibility. This is my gift. This is my curse. Who am I? I'm Spider-Man. Hello there, YouTube viewers, and thank you for tuning in to today's video. As you can tell from the opening intro I just did and from my new Spider-Man shirt, today's video is going to be Spider-Man themed. Finally, my Sam Raimi Spider-Man suit came in to match my Spider-Man mask. And so, for today's video, we are going to be doing a movie review of Sam Raimi's 2002 Spider-Man. This is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. I grew up with Spider-Man. I remember seeing this in theaters with my dad. We were a little bit late, but it was still enjoyable. So, without further ado, let's get on into the video. First off, I want to give a round of applause to director Sam Raimi for directing such a great and amazing film. Now, as for the cast, I give it a 7 out of 10. I do think some roles were miscast, particularly for the role of Flash Thompson. I don't think the actor quite captured that role, and I don't think it was his fault. I think Flash Thompson is kind of a difficult character to translate from comic to screen. Oh, as for cast, we have Toby Maguire as Peter Parker / Spider-Man. Amazing, amazing job, Toby. Very well done. Next up, the great William Dafoe as Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. Ha ha ha! And who could forget the amazing, beautiful Kristen Dunst as Mary Jane, or MJ Watson. And we have James Franco as Harry Osborn, Cliff Robertson as Uncle Ben Parker. Amazing, amazing choice. And Rosemary Harris as Aunt May Parker. Again, another amazing choice. I could watch Aunt May's scenes all day. And one of the best actors in any of the Spider-Man movies, the great J.K. Simmons, who plays Jonah Jameson, the editor-in-chief of the Daily Bugle. And then I don't think I can pronounce his last name. Joe Manganiello as Flash Thompson, Bill Nunn as Robbie Robertson, Elizabeth Banks as Betty Brant. Oh, pretty good choices with casting. Next, we move on to the plot of the movie. As for the score of the plot, I give it a full 10 out of 10. The film opens up with Peter Parker narrating about his life. Through the narration, we learn that Peter Parker is a fellow nerd/geek like the rest of us. We are also introduced to Mary Jane Watson, or MJ Watson, Peter Parker's love interest, played by the beautiful Kristen Dunst. Can't say I blame him for having a crush on her. Just saying. Okay. I'm going to pause for a minute and take these gloves off because it's hard to go through my notes with Spider-Man gloves. On a school trip, Peter's class visits a Columbia University genetics laboratory. While there, he is bitten by a genetically enhanced super spider and falls ill upon returning home. Meanwhile, Harry's father, Norman Osborn, a scientist and founder and owner of Oscorp, tries to secure an important military contract. He experiments on himself with an unstable performance-enhancing chemical and goes insane, killing his assistant. The next day, Peter discovers that he is no longer nearsighted and has developed spider-like abilities. Brushing off his Uncle Ben's advice, with great power comes great responsibility, he enters an underground wrestling event to win money to buy a car to impress Mary Jane. He wins his first match, but the promoter cheats him out of his earnings. As the promoter is robbed, Peter chooses to let the thief escape. Moments later, Peter discovers that his Uncle Ben was carjacked and killed. Peter pursues the thief, only to discover that it was the same person that he let escape. The thief attempts to flee, but dies after falling out a window. Upon graduating, Peter begins using his abilities to fight injustice, donning a spandex costume and the masked persona of Spider-Man. J. Jonah Jameson, publisher and editor of the Daily Bugle, hires Peter as a freelance photographer since he is the only person providing clear images of Spider-Man. We learn that Osborn has killed some Oscorp board members, and Jameson dubs the killer the Green Goblin. The Goblin offers Spider-Man a place at his side, but he refuses and they fight, and Peter is wounded in the process. At Thanksgiving dinner, Aunt May invites MJ, Harry, and Norman. During the dinner, Norman notices Peter's wound and realizes his secret identity. Thinking the only way to defeat Peter is to attack those closest to him, the Green Goblin, Norman, later attacks Aunt May, causing her to be hospitalized. Later, Norman learns through his son, Harry, that Peter and MJ have feelings for each other. The Green Goblin holds MJ in a Roosevelt Island tramcar full of children hostage, forcing Spider-Man to choose who to save. Let die the woman you love, or suffer the little children. We are who we choose to be. Now choose! Spider-Man saves both MJ and the children. Then they fight in an abandoned building. Peter begins to get the upper hand as Norman reveals himself and begs for forgiveness while getting his glider ready to impale Peter. Warned by his spider sense, Peter dodges and the glider impales Norman instead. With his dying breath, Norman asks Peter not to reveal his identity as the Green Goblin to Harry. Peter takes Norman's body to the Osborn house and is confronted by Harry, but Peter manages to escape. At Norman's funeral, Harry swears vengeance on Spider-Man, believing him to be responsible for his father's death. Mary Jane confesses her love to Peter, however, feeling that he must protect her from the unwanted attention of his enemies, he chooses to hide his feelings and tells her that they can only be friends. As Peter leaves, he recalls Ben's words and accepts his responsibility as Spider-Man. Now, as for action, I do give this movie a 5 out of 10. While this movie is mostly plot-driven and mostly introduces us to the characters, it does have action where it counts, so I'll give it that. The visual effects, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Visual effects on this movie are amazing. Soundtrack, again, another 10 out of 10. My favorite song is the song Hero that plays during the end credits. I believe it's by Nickelback. I could be mistaken. Now, let's jump into some of my favorite scenes from the movie. Now, this was difficult to choose between a few of them, and I did my best. Oh, here we go. My first favorite scene is the scene where we are introduced to Uncle Ben and Aunt May. I really love the family dynamic that Sam Raimi chose to incorporate in the film. Some very good heartwarming scenes and makes you feel good all around. My next favorite scene is when Peter Parker discovers he no longer needs glasses, and he notices his muscular body, the body that every girl wants a man to have, and the body that every man wishes and dreams they could have. Stop it, Jerry. Behave. My next favorite scene comes a couple scenes later when Peter discovers he can crawl on walls. The way that Sam Raimi chose to have the cameraman work the angles and how they achieved this effect, pure cinematic genius. Just look at these shots. Next up, who could forget this lovely scene where Uncle Ben delivers his most famous lines? With great power comes great responsibility. Again, the way that Sam Raimi focuses on the family dynamics and makes it the focus on this film, pure genius. My next favorite scene comes a couple moments later with the wrestling cage match. One of my favorite supporting characters is Bonesaw McGraw. And the actor that Sam Raimi got to play him, very good.
Hey, freak show! You going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime. What are you doing up there?
Staying away from you. That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you? Oh, my next favorite scene comes a few more scenes down the road, and that's the fight between Spider-Man and the Green Goblin at the Unity Day Fair Festival. I love William Dafoe's performance as the Green Goblin, and I love the costume choices that they chose. Very amazing job on the costume design. And amazing choreography as well. My next favorite scene comes partway through the movie, and it is the fight scene between Spider-Man and the Green Goblin inside the burning building. Now, I love this scene because of the setting for the fight inside the burning building, and the effects in this scene are amazing, and the choreography in this scene is just brilliant. You can really tell that Sam Raimi basically went all in when directing this film. Just look at the way that Peter is dodging the goblin's pumpkin bombs. And that jump. And then the transition that it does from "No one says no to me" to Norman Osborn. Genius. Genius transition. Next up, my final favorite scenes are the fight on the bridge between Spider-Man and Green Goblin when the Green Goblin is holding the children and Mary Jane hostage. I also love the soundtrack during this point. You can really feel the tension and the stakes, and the effects, and the camera shots of this whole fight sequence. Genius. This is why fools are only heroes. You never know when some lunatic will come along with some sadistic choice. Let die the woman you love, or suffer the little children. We are who we choose to be. Now choose! And of course, Spider-Man, being the hero that he is, decides to try and manages to save both. Let's give a round of applause for Spidey's heroic efforts. And then this shot, just brilliant. And then when it looks like that Spider-Man is in trouble and about to lose, I love how Sam Raimi has the civilians start throwing debris at the Green Goblin, and the guy shouts something along the line of, "You mess with Spider-Man, you mess with all of us." Love that. Again, love this movie. I want to give everyone that worked on this movie a big round of applause for making such a great and enjoyable film. Without this film, Spider-Man probably wouldn't be the popular culture as he is today. I highly recommend this film to anyone who has not viewed it yet. A very good family superhero feel-good film. While it's not as high up to the standards as the films are today, it does set the bar pretty high for the time it was made in 2002, when we were getting basically Spider-Man and X-Men. So, that's about it for the video. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you liked this video and want to see more movie reviews, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. For even more Spider-Man content, I highly recommend checking out the Heroverse. For a replay of a live watch party of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I also recommend checking out the Heroverse Gaming YouTube page as well for a live playthrough of Spider-Man Remastered every Sunday, I believe, either 2 or 3-ish. And I highly recommend subscribing to both of the YouTube channels for amazing Marvel content. So, that'll be all for this video. Please stay tuned for the after show where we highlight YouTube creators. As Spider-Man would say, thwip, thwip. Peace. Hello, YouTube viewers, and thank you for staying tuned for the after show where we highlight a random YouTube creator. Today we are going to be highlighting a different type of YouTube channel. It is a companion channel to the Heroverse. The name of the channel is Heroverse Gaming. As stated, this is a companion channel to the Heroverse, run by Zach, for great video game content, video game news of any video games. Please visit the Heroverse Gaming channel on YouTube, where you can find great video game reviews, video game playthroughs, and video game streams. Thank you for watching, and peace. Hello everyone, and welcome to the after show where we highlight some creators and reactors. Today's highlight will be the YouTube channel The Heroverse. For some great Marvel content and Star Wars content and different trailer reactions, feel free to check out the Heroverse YouTube channel. For different video reactions and trailer reactions and movie reviews. Also, please consider subscribing to the Heroverse on Patreon. For just $10 a month, you have access to different movie reactions and series reactions. And as always, thank you for watching, and join us next time.